All right, so welcome back to another edition of Coding with Django and OpenAI and Pegasus and all that good stuff. I am Corey Zhu, creator of Pegasus, and today I'm going to do something a little different. So I've been building out this chatbot UI, and I'll just kind of show a demo. So like, I don't know, write me a poem about Django in the style of a pirate. So this is basically just a wrapper around ChatGPT, and I had been building this for another product, but now I'm going to integrate it back into Pegasus so that everybody who uses Pegasus can get access to this sort of chatbot UI. Let me just make sure that my thing is running. Very good. Yeah. So right now. This is pretty good. It's a decent little UI. I've tweaked it a little bit. One problem or lack of feature is that it doesn't have any history. So like if I say, can you do the same for Ruby? It's not going to remember that it asked me, that I just asked it to do this poem thing about Django. So it's going to sit here thinking for a little while, and then it's going to I don't know what it's going to say, but it's not going to be very, very useful. But anyway, so my goal for today is to give this thing history. Yeah, so it just gave me some generic stuff about Ruby. It didn't, write a poem or whatnot. So I want to add history to this thing, and I'm going to start working on that, and as always, we'll see how it goes, how far we get, and hopefully we'll learn a little something on the way. So I cheated a little bit. I had already kind of set up some data models for another app in terms of storing some of this stuff. So I just pasted those models here and tweaked them a little bit. But so basically there's two models here. There's a chat model, which you can think of as like a chat session. So that's going to be sort of like what you think of when you go to this screen. It's going to have all the back and forth of the messages that you have. And then there's an individual chat message object, which will belong to a chat. And in addition to that, it'll have like a type for the human versus AI versus a system message, which is something you don't need to worry about for now, and the message content, which will just be some text. And the chat itself, I'm just going to associate them with users for now, and I'll give them a name, although remains to be seen whether we'll use that name anywhere, but seems like something that might be useful one day. So these are the models I've laid out. They don't do anything currently. And I suppose the first thing I need to do is I need to create, let's make this bigger. I need to create some migrations for those models. Big enough? Too big? Give it the app name. The next thing I'm going to do is make an admin UI. This is kind of crazy. So one of the things that I've been using ChatGPT for is these sort of boilerplatey code examples. So I'll just say like, can you generate a Django admin.py file for these models? And then I'll paste those models in. And let's see what this thing produces. While we're waiting for that to churn, I'll create the file. Okay. So I'll grab this code and I will paste it into my admin file. And I think that probably worked. I'm going to tweak this a little. I'm just going to use the syntax, the decorator syntax instead of this syntax. I'll do the same thing here. And let's see if that worked. Might have to restart the server. So sometimes you have to restart the server to get the admin stuff to show up. Make that a little bigger. I think the streaming is hammering away on my machine again. Hopefully this isn't too slow to be useful. Yeah, okay, so these are here now. And they look like they are working. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the next thing we want to do is we want to just set it up so that kind of the first time you type into here, it will create a new chat for you. So I'm going to go to the views where this is going to get created. And let me think about this a little bit. So it's going to be a little more complicated than that, because now that I think about it, this is kind of like a generic chat page, but probably what we actually want is we want to kind of start a new chat in the context. I mean, I'm kind of imagining that this is just going to work the same way that this chatbot UI works. So when I click new chat, that's kind of the moment where I want to create the chat object and stick it in the database. So I'm actually going to add a new view here. I'm going to copy and paste from chat home. And so chat home is now going to be like my chat list page, I suppose. And this is going to be like, this is going to just be like chat, I guess, or, single chat, maybe we'll call it. Yeah, so chat, single chat. And I'm just going to copy and paste this chat home file to the single chat. And chat home is now where I'm going to kind of do some different stuff. So what am I going to do in chat home? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list the existing chats, and then I'm going to have like a new chat button. So I'm going to switch this to use the app block, which is it was using the whole body, because this is kind of like a full page thing that gets rid of the nav bar. That's you can have kind of like a nice chat experience, and it can scroll and be the full height of the thing. For this new chat home, it's we're going to keep the navigation and stuff in place. So I'm going to go back and write this code inside the app place. And let's see. I mean, I kind of just want to steal the layout from probably like from something like this page. So let's see, open AI home. So yeah, I'll just make like a little app card. And get rid of that. And I'll say like my chats. Manage your chats here. I suppose, why don't we add some translations to this? And, you know, for now, we'll just say like list of chats here, and then we're going to make a new chat button, which will go in a form. Let's see, method is post, action, and I think we're going to want to make a new URL here. So let's make a new URL route to start our chats. So we have chat home. We have this new single chat thing that we've added. This will be like chat, and there'll be some kind of integer chat ID, I suppose. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. And then we're also going to have like chat new, let's say, start chat. And we'll go ahead and create this function. My machine is like just scraping by. It's slow enough to be slightly annoying, but not slow enough that I feel the need to stop the stream. So for this start chat thing, I want to require a post, because that's going to be a form submission. And what am I going to do in this? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new chat object. And we want to make sure to set the user equal to the logged in user. And then we're just going to return a redirect. To that single chat. Chat. Single args equals chat.id. Something like that. Does that seem like it'll work? A little too easy, but let's try it. So now in our chat home, let's see, so we want to do an action. We want the URL of chat, start chat, no autocomplete. We want to see our CSRF token, and we want a equals primary button. Okay, well, let's see how we did. So we're going to go to our home. We don't have our chats. We do a new chat. Name chat is not defined. What did we do wrong? Chats equals. Try that again. Okay, that looks good. It looks like it created it. We can go check. Yeah, so we've got a couple unnamed chats here now. And we can now go to, let's see, so the single chat is now going to take a chat ID, which is an integer. Now we want to say chat equals get object or 404. Whoops. Chat. What? User equals request user, ID equals chat ID, something like that. And we'll stick this chat in our context. I'm sure we'll need that eventually. Let's see how this goes. Cool. So now theoretically we're talking in this chat, although we haven't done any work to actually enable that. And so now what we're going to have to do is, I suppose every time we send a message, we're going to want to also know that it's part of the right chat. And we're going to also want to record those messages. So what I will probably do first is I'm just going to I'm going to add this prefix to to these two views, the one that sends a new message and the one that gets the message response. And that way these functions will now take in the chat ID. So we'll go update the views. That view, yeah. And then we will, in the new message function, we're going to add this like get object or 404 thing. This is kind of just a permissions check, so that, you know, I can't go try and get somebody else's chat and send, you know, send different messages based on a different chat ID. So yeah, so I mean that chat doesn't exist, but I think you get the idea. So we're just kind of stick this here as a permissions check. Confirm user can access that chat. And then, so I don't know, you'll have to watch one of the older live streams to see how this works, but basically this this request gets handed to a Celery task and then gets processed on the back end, and it uses HTMX to eventually show the response. So this Celery task is where it's actually doing the work. Currently, we just send the text, and now we're going to send, I guess, the chat ID as well as the text. And we're going to have to update the signature of this function to take a chat ID, a cot ID, and so this is the code that just actually talks to OpenAI. And somewhere in here, we're going to want to create our chat message objects. I'm just thinking about whether it makes sense to do them sort of right after we get the response or before. I think I'm going to do it after. So I'm going to wait until we get this response back from OpenAI, and only then, well, I take it back. I'm going to do it before. Yeah, I'm going to do it before. But while we're here, we can log the other one. So once we get the response, we'll say response body equals, and then we'll do this, not minus. We'll replace this with the response body. I'm doing it in sort of reverse in order because I'm right here. And then we'll do a chat message dot objects dot creates, and we'll say, let's see, this is going to be message types dot AI. This is a new thing that I just learned about. I don't know how long it's existed in Django, but Django has now this built-in text choices thing. So instead of doing defining all your choices in a tuple, you can just use this model. So this is cool. This was something I learned recently. And what is the content equals response body? I don't love that name, content, but I'm not going to worry about it for now. and chat ID equals chat ID. Chat it. And we don't need to check the permissions here, I don't think, because the only way this gets called is through here, where the permissions have already been checked. If you wanted, you could double check that chat ID exists. If you wanted to check it belonged to the user, you'd also have to pass the user in, so it would make the function signature a little more complicated. I'm not going to bother with it. The other thing I'm going to do is the reason I didn't just save the other chat message here is I'm actually just going to do that in the view. And the reason for that is if for whatever reason, like celery is down or this thing fails or something, it's nice for the users, even if they don't get a response, it's nice for the users to kind of have their messages saved, I think. That's my thinking. So I'm going to save a human message here, and the content will be the message text. Yeah, I think that's basically it. One thing I will also have to do is I'll have to restart Celery. Celery does not automatically restart when you edit code, and I've never taken the time to figure out if that's possible or how to do that. Reverse for a new chat message, not found. That's because we added the ID. So we need to now add chat.id. I knew we'd need that context we were passing in. And let's see, while we're at it, the other URL we used was this get message response, and this is also going to need a chat ID now. Not new chat message, get message response. This is going to need a chat ID, and we're going to have to pass the chat. Also, well, let's just pass it everywhere. That may not be necessary, but this will definitely be necessary. Okay, so this is just making sure that when we use this chat.id variable, which is in templates that come from all three of those views, that it's present there. Okay, so now, moment of truth. And let's see, I'm gonna use smaller or easier examples because they go faster. So, okay, so that looked like it worked. And let's see. So now chat 2, let's look at our chat messages admin. And yeah, we can see that this looks like it works pretty well. I'm just gonna, this chat object 2 thing annoys me, so I'm just going to add a string function to the chat object. Return the chat name. Oh, why don't we do this? Oh no. And we'll also throw the user in there, why not? Okay. So eventually, okay, I don't know why the user's not showing up. But eventually we'll expose some kind of UI to edit these names, but for now, this seems fine. And so, okay, so now when we're viewing chat 2, so this is where things are going to get a little fuzzy. And if I were, oh, what the heck, I'm going to commit this. Because I'm doing real development on a real project, I am going to kind of develop this how I normally would, and so let's see here. We got some. All this gunk is good to go, I think. Looks fine. That all looks fine. Single chat. Admin. I don't know. I usually don't commit my migrations right away, just in case my models change while I'm sort of building them out. I'll just do all that locally and then commit them at the end of my pull request. I'm going to say initial chat session history modeling. And this is going to complain because of pre-commit. And so then we'll make whatever suggestions pre-commit decides to make. Okay. So now we have these in the database, but if I refresh this, it's not going to show them. So the next thing I want to do is I want to have it so that if I load up one of these chats, it will load the entire history. So let's see if we can do that. So that's going to happen in the single chat view. And let's go look at what's in the single chat view. It's going to be somewhere in this chat UI. So this first one will just kind of stay there. And now we want to do for message in chat dot messages, and let's see, yeah, I already added that related name, so that should work. And the ordering is also using created at, so that should just kind of go the right way. And now we'll say if message dot is, I have this is AI message and is human message, so let's say is, I kind of want to put the humans first. Humans will only be able to be first for so much longer in our existence, so that was a end of the world joke. Okay, so if it's a human message, we want to show a human thing, and if it's an AI message, we want to show an AI thing. And so chat message from user. So this is what the human thing looks like. And I think I'm just trying to figure out how this is going to fit in with the HTMX markup that is used elsewhere. But I think everything from here to here I can kind of shove into a new template. So I'll call it a user message. I'll create it, and then stick that like that. So message text is what it's going to want. And then I'm just going to copy this outer div, I suppose, and get rid of the HTMX markup. I don't think I need that. Actually, don't know what that items end is doing, or if that's even necessary. But let's see. I want to include a user message. And what do I need to? I need a with message.content as message text, something like that. So let's see if that works. So I'm expecting now just to see one human message pop up. Related manager is not iterable. Fine. Yeah. That's good. I guess, why was that? Maybe justify end is what makes it full width. So maybe I do need that. Oh. Let's not worry about that for now. And then similarly, we want to do the bot message, which chat message response should have one of those. And again, this is kind of more confusing, but we want, I think we want all of this. And I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything we can abstract, but it's not the best. So can we refactor this a little bit? I suppose we can. So well, that's not easy. We'll clean this up later. So I'm just gonna paste this whole thing in here, and then get rid of all the HTMX markup. And that's fine. We don't need to worry about this, although we might need to worry about, so this should be, we'll put the message, the width all the way on the outside, between the for and the if. Computer's starting to lock up again. Okay. Width on the outside. There's the human message. This is the system message. Here we want message text. I don't know if this safe line break stuff, we'll figure that out later. We don't need to worry about our thinking dots. Something like that. Oh, printer, let's see. Yeah, all right. So far, so good. Stick a few more messages in here just for kicks. So it's still not using the history, which will be obvious in a sec. So let's say like, write me a haiku about Django, please. Wrong Django. So again, like, obviously, like now do one about, well, let's stick with the Western theme. Wild Bill. Like, it doesn't know what one means. It doesn't remember that I told it to write a haiku. And so now we're going to have to feed this into ChatGPT's history API. That's taking a long time. One cool thing about this, actually, never mind. Yeah. So the formatting is getting lost a little bit. We'll worry about that later. What I was gonna say is one cool thing is like, okay, who was Annie Oakley? Like I can close this tab now before it's done thinking, and before I would have lost that entirely. But I think now, well, while it's thinking, it's not gonna work. But if I refresh when it's done, it will now pick this up in the chat. So that's a nice little bonus. But anyway, so now let's get this context in the history. And then we can actually use this thing like ChatGPT. So the way that works, if you have not used OpenAI's chat completion API before, is essentially you use this, instead of passing it just like a single message or a single text to complete, you pass it a list of messages. And so what we want to do is, right now we're just taking the one message and turning it into a single item list that we pass to OpenAI. And what we actually want to do now is we want to get the entire history from our chat, pass that whole thing into OpenAI, and be done with it. And one thing I'm realizing is, since we have already saved the last message to the database, we can actually just get the entire context from the chat itself, which is kind of nice. So let's do this. So chat equals chat dot get chat ID. ID equals chat ID. So we're gonna get the chat out, and we basically want like chat dot get OpenAI messages, something like that. And so this is going to return a list of things that look like this. I was hoping it would kind of try to get me to write that function on that thing, but it doesn't seem to want to do that. So def get OpenAI messages. So we want to return something that looks like that. We'll add a little docstring, like return list of messages ready to pass to the OpenAI chat completion API. And we're gonna do, let's see, so just do return m dot to OpenAI dict for m in self dot messages dot all. Let me just add some types here. List of dicts, I suppose. And then now we need to add this function to our message class. And we're going to return role content. I guess that's why I named it content. And now we need to get OpenAI role function, which will, let's see. So the role is user. I think the role, human. I guess we'll say if, let's see, self dot, is it message type? Yeah. Message type dot equals message types dot human turn user ls self dot equals AI. To remember what I'm guessing the AI is AI, but I'm just going to assume that it's AI. theory, maybe we want a system message also. That'll be for later. So I think this is kind of it. And so now in our tasks function, we're going to call this getOpenAI messages function, which will go through all the messages and turn them all into the dictionaries that this thing is expecting. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna restart Celery. I'm gonna do a new chat, just because this one's got some garbage in it now. So, new chats. We still haven't added the chat list, but that's okay. Write me a haiku about the Django web framework. There we go. Well, that didn't work. Try to read this crash. Static trace. Come on. Is not of type object. It's not? What is it? So, extra paren, extra brackets. It was a list inside a list instead of just the one list. Okay. This chat's dead. I'm going to try to do a new one. About the Django web framework. It's better. Okay, so now moment of truth. Now do Next.js. Oh, assistant. Okay, so it wasn't AI, it was assistant. Assistant and system was right. Okay, so we'll kill this again. Start it again. And let's see. Now I do Next.js. And Rails. Nice. Pretty cool. And I don't know, should we, I mean, this is a pretty decent place to wrap it. So, yeah, so in this screencast, we built a little, where did it go? We added history and we added, well, that's basically it. We added history and memory to our chat interactions, and we are getting pretty close to having a server-side ChatGPT clone. So thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time.